Good afternoon and welcome. We are so excited to be here and able to give you all a first look at the redesign of UI eServices for employers. The redesign comes as part of a year-long effort to modernize our unemployment insurance IT systems by pulling our benefit system in with our UI tax system. Just a couple of housekeeping items before we get started. The webinar is being recorded and will be available on our website in a day or two. You can access it by going to uieservices.mt.gov and clicking on either the frequently asked questions link or handbooks, forms, and more. At this time, we do have everyone muted, but if you have questions throughout the presentation, please feel free to enter them into the Q&A chat and we'll get them answered as quickly as possible. At the end of the presentation, there will be time for open questions. Please raise your hand and we'll open it up for you to ask questions you may have. And with that, we'll go ahead and get started. Thank you again for joining us. My name is Karina Benjamin. I am the Unemployment Insurance Contributions Bureau Chief. We are here today to kind of show you the new look of UI eServices for employers. It's the same great system that many of you have been using for about 10 years now, but it's getting quite the facelift here in October. And it comes as part of a year-long project that we've been working on to modernize our UI systems by bringing our tax and benefits system together into one United Montana Unemployment Services Enterprise, or MUSE is what we're calling it. We're hoping that this effort will streamline a lot of our processes and improve efficiencies across our division in the program as a whole. As employers and third-party administrators, you're going to benefit from UI eServices employers by its mobile-friendly design. It really will work on pretty much any screen size you have, tablet, cell phone, all those kinds of things. It's really kind of cool that way. We are introducing a single sign-on with Okta into UI eServices. Some of you who do business with other state agencies may be very familiar with Okta. It's part of an initiative to kind of have a single sign-on for all state of Montana services and products through Okta. So that'll be, eServices will be included in that. We've built in some options for responding to separation information on benefit claims. I know many of you may have used sides in the past, and you can continue to do that, or we have a new good option that's kind of built right into the system. We've expanded some of our secure web messaging features and improved a lot of the options for managing your UI tax account. And then we still have all the same great tools for filing and paying your quarterly reports and taxes that we have had in the past. And that's kind of what Katie's going to share with you today. We are going live with this new system on the 2nd of October. And so we just wanted to give you all a sneak peek and kind of show you what you will see on the 2nd when you first log into UI eServices for employers. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to one of our customer service reps, Katie Trenton, who's going to walk you through the demo.
Okay, yes, thank you, Karina. Good afternoon and welcome, everybody. My name is Katie Trenton, and I am one of the customer service representatives over here at UI eServices for employers. I'm really excited today to be presenting and demoing for you our new website with all of its modern functionality that we really truly believe is going to make it a whole lot easier to file your quarterly wage reports, and then of course respond to any of those benefit claims requests for information. So yes, as Karina mentioned, we have been really busy over the past year creating, designing, and testing this new integrated tax and benefit system to really create a more user-friendly online portal, which not only has this more modern look and feel, but it really does function better to alert you when some action is needed on your part. Another change that Karina mentioned is that we are going to utilize that state of Montana's new secure login platform known as Okta, and I will be presenting and demoing that for you right at the beginning of the presentation. Before I do get started on the demo, I would like to introduce our accounting and collections supervisor, April Rose Hislop. She is going to be manning the chat and the Q&A along with others. So if you guys do have any questions as we go through the presentation, please do feel free to put them in there and we will get them addressed. For any of the questions that might need a demo along with that, we'll get those addressed at the end of the presentation. Okay, so April, would you like to go ahead and jump in here and introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. I'm April, and I'm super excited that you've decided to join us. Like Katie said, if you have any questions, please go ahead and throw those in the chat, or at the end of the presentation, if you'd like to raise your hand, we can try and answer those verbally for you. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Okay, great. Thank you, April. So as you can see here on our screen, we do have a new look to our website. I do want to explain first that we are performing this demo in our testing environment. So it might look just slightly different when you come out here in October, but essentially all those tools and resources will be out here for you. So if I scroll down here, let me make this a little bigger for you guys. Let's see. There we go. All right, so if I jump down here to our employer tools tile, we do have our link to the employer handbook right here. Down here on the bottom, we do have that link over for the guides, forms, and more. There's several helpful links in here, such as our e-filing handbook that has all the specifications for the different file formats. Over here on our UI resources tile, we have our direct link to the Montana UI homepage, the link to report any suspicious unemployment insurance fraud. Down here, you can access our quarterly newsletters. Of course, we always have the newest one published, but we do keep all of the historic ones out there if you need to refer to any of those as well. Down here at the bottom is the link to our frequently asked questions page. This is getting updated quite often, especially with the launch of our new system and our new site here. Okay, so before I go ahead and get logged in, I would like to emphasize the importance of every individual accessing the account should have their own secure username and password set up. We do strongly discourage the sharing of login information, and this is for security purposes, really to protect you, to protect your employees, and also to protect us as well. You can, however, have as many web logons set up under the account as needed for however many employees that you have that will be accessing the account. Okay, so we need to go ahead when you come out here in October. The first thing that you're going to need to do is we're going to need to link your existing eServices web logon to an Okta account. And to do that, you'll come out here and you'll go ahead and click this Sign In with Okta button. That's going to bring you to this screen here. Because I am a state employee, I already have my Okta account set up, but it would bring you to a box similar to this to put your Okta username and password in, and then you would click Verify. If you don't have your Okta account set up yet, you can still go out to eServices at uieservices.mt.gov, click that Sign In with Okta button, and down here at the bottom, there's going to be a link that says Don't Have an Account, Sign Up. So you'd be able to click that link. It's going to redirect you back to Okta to set up that Okta account. Then you can come back to eServices and link that Okta account to your eServices web logon. But I'm going to go ahead and put my Okta credentials in here. And then I'll go ahead and click Verify. Okay, so now the system does see my Okta account, and now I have to go search for my web logon that I have always used to log into eServices with. So I'm going to go ahead and click Yes, I have previously logged in and used eServices. And then I will go ahead and click Next. So here are the boxes that we are going to put in that username and password we've always logged into eServices with. And then I'll go ahead and click Next over here. Maybe I typed my password wrong. There we go. Okay, so then it's going to bring you over here to the business role page. So if you are an owner, officer, partner, or principal of the business, you'd want to select the top option here. If you're an employee of the business that's handling the tax matters, that would be the second option right here. The third option is going to be if you're an employee of the business that's only handling the benefits matters. And then the fourth option at the bottom is if you're an employee of the business handling both the tax and the benefit claims business online. For the purpose of this demo, I'm an owner, officer, partner of my business. And then I will go ahead and click Next right here. All right, so that's going to bring us to confirm your information page. So this is the contact information that's associated with your username and password for eServices. If this information is outdated, once we get logged into the account here, I will be showing you where to go to update this information. But we just have to simply go ahead and click submit. And now we have successfully linked our Okta account to our eServices web logon. We do provide you with a confirmation page for doing this. You can print this confirmation if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and just log in now. All right, so this is the first glimpse of what the account looks like when you get logged in. Before I start demoing all the functions in here, I do want to show you how easy it is to log in after you've done this linking process just the first time. So I'm going to go up to my little profile here, and I'm just going to log off. Okay, we'll click here to start over, and then that brings us back to the home screen. So after you have linked that Okta account to the web logon, going forward in the future, all you have to do when you come out to eServices is you'll click your Sign In with Okta button. It's going to bring you to that box asking for your Okta credentials. Okay. So it's going to make me go through these screens again here to get back in. Again, I just want to mention this is a testing environment. You will not have this trouble when you are out in production. If you just give me one moment, please. Okay, we'll submit that and we'll log in now. Okay, so on a positive note, you got to see those screens of the linking process again. Okay, so I did want to mention one thing though, is once you do get linked to your Okta account here at eServices, we will not be able to assist in any password resets going forward. You would have to visit the Okta help website, and that is okta, okta.mt.gov/help. If you're still having trouble, you can always contact the State Information Technology Services Division at 406-444-2000. I will let you know we're going to provide all this contact information on a PowerPoint slide at the end of the presentation. So please, as a reminder, if you have any questions regarding that linking to Okta or linking your Okta account to the existing eServices web logon, do put them in that chat and we will get them answered for you. Okay, so before we jump in and start filing reports or making payments, I did want to point out the internal help tools and resources that we have out here. So I'm going to go ahead and scroll to the bottom of my screen. And down at the bottom, you do see that we have that direct link to the Department of Labor and Industry page. Over here, we have the internal link that'll take you back over to the frequently asked questions page. The contact us link is going to take you to get you our mailing address, our email address, and our phone number if you need to contact us here at the Contributions Bureau. Over here, we still do have our request the support ID as we did in our former eServices. For those of you who have not used the support ID before, what that is you would click this link and generate a 6-digit code. You would then give us a call at 406-444-3834 and give that code to one of our agents. We can put that into our side of the database, and then we can jump in there live and see your screen and really troubleshoot whatever problem that you're having that day. You can request your support ID down here at the bottom, or if I scroll up to the top here, we have our little question mark where you can also get your support ID. Okay, so when we first get logged in here, you will be on your summary tab right here. Now, this is one of the new features that we are really excited about here at eServices that really draws your attention to those actions that are needed on your part. So any of the actions that are needed on the summary tab, they're going to be at the top of your screen, and they're going to be highlighted in red or orange. As you can see, I need to still file my second quarter 2023 quarterly wage report. And down here at the bottom, this is what Karina had mentioned, is a new way to respond to any of those benefit claims matters. I have a request for information here highlighted in orange. If I scroll down a little bit here, these two tiles, your account tile and your employer information tile, these will always be on your summary tab. The account tile is where you're really going to find all the account information. If you have a credit balance, that's going to show right here. And it's going to be highlighted in green. If this is a balance owing, it's going to show in the same spot here, but it's going to be red. And your tile will also be highlighted in red because that is an action needed on your part to make that payment. Down here on the employer information tile, this is where you're going to find all that benefit related information. We do, for your convenience, provide the current UI tax rate that was assigned right here on this tile. You can always view the history of the rates by using the view tax rates link over here on this side. All right, so if I scroll up, this is another new feature in eServices that we're excited about to draw your attention to those actions is our Action Center here. It has this really nice red circle that draws your eyes to see, and how many actions are in your Action Center will populate with that number there. So as I click in here, you can see it looks like we have some unread messages and some unread letters that I can view. I can use these links to take me over there, or there's other ways to navigate over to view the messages and letters as well. Down here on the UI tax tile, here's that quarterly wage report that still needs to be filed for second quarter 2023, and then also that request for information down here as well. Okay, so I think we can go ahead and file a report now. I will let you know there's several different links that are going to take you to the same exact screen to file these reports. So from my Action Center, I could click this File Report link. That would take me over to file that second quarter report. Or from my Summary tab up here, I could also use this File Now link. That's going to take me to that same screen. I do want to show you down here on the Accounts tile, you can also access it from Manage Reports. I'm going to go ahead and click in here. This is going to bring you to a very familiar screen from our former eServices. This is where we list all the reports that we have received and posted to your account. If you need to view or print them, you can use these links over here to view or amend. And again, if you have to make any changes, you'd be able to make that amendment by clicking this link as well. But today we're going to go out and we're going to file. Here's the second quarter 2023 report, and I'm going to take that or click this File Now link, and that'll take me to that same screen here for the wages. So now we're going to ask you, did you pay wages between the dates of the quarter? So if that is no and you need to submit a no wage report, you go ahead and click no, and then you would click next over here on the right-hand side. Today I do have a report with wages, so I'm going to go ahead and click yes, and then I'll click next. All right, so this is going to bring you to another familiar screen where we need to collect the employee count for the quarter and then the employee wage detail down here at the bottom. So that would include, of course, the social security number, last name, first name, and the gross wages. We do still have our 3 ways to get the information into this screen. You can simply data enter the information in. We have our load previous quarters SSNs. And then we also have our import my file. So let's go ahead. I'm going to demo all 3 of these for you. So if I'm going to data enter, I just go ahead and click into these boxes and enter the information. Oops. Okay, so as I enter the gross wages, you can see here on our report summary tile that tax due is going to continue to populate to give you the tax that's due for the quarter as you enter people in. Down here on the bottom, if you have more than 1 employee, as you enter more people in, this bottom blank row will populate each time to allow you to enter in as many employees as you need. Okay, so up here in our report tools tile, if you wanted to use the load previous quarters SSN function, that would be here, this top link. So load previous SSN. Now what that's going to do is that's going to bring in what we got last quarter for the social security number, the last name, and the first name. But you would have to update the employee counts as well as data enter in the gross wages here as well. If you need to remove somebody from this screen, if they're no longer an employee or didn't earn any wages during the quarter, you just have to go ahead and click this little X over to the left of their social security number. And that's going to bring up this window asking if you really are sure you want to delete it. And you would say yes. And that's just going to go ahead and take out that whole row for you. Okay, so the third option that we have is our import my file. That again is up on the report tools here. So importing my file, you do have to have a properly formatted Excel or CSV file. Those specifications can be found in our Montana e-filing handbook. We do provide the direct link right here from this screen, but you can always access it from the home screen under that guides, forms, and more as well. So to use the import my file, you go ahead and click that link. That's going to bring up this window allowing you to browse your computer to find the file that you are ready to upload here. So here's my Excel file, and I'm going to just click OK. So that loads it in there, and I'll click OK. Okay, so I did not receive an error message. You can see that my file was properly formatted. And again, if you need those specifications, they're out there in the Montana e-filing handbook. Okay, something else I wanted to mention is when you are out here on this screen entering in your report, if you are interrupted for any reason or have to step away from your computer for an extended period of time, please do use this Save Draft button down here to save the work. We do have a 20-minute timeout period of inactivity, and if you get timed out without using the Save Draft, it will erase the work that you have already done. So please do utilize that. You can always come back out here, open it up for editing, and continue on where you have left off. Okay, so my report does look correct and ready to submit. To do that, you just have to click the next button down here in the bottom right-hand corner. And that's going to take us over to the confirm submission page. Before I actually submit the report, I did want to point out another great new feature that we have in eServices is up here is our crumb trail. So if you had needed to move back a screen or two, these are active links. So if I forgot to add a person on that report before I actually submit it, I can just click this link here. It's going to bring me back to my report where I could add that person in here and then continue with next. But again, my report does look correct, so I'm going to go ahead and click next now. And then by clicking submit, you're just testing that it is true and accurate and you're authorized to submit the report. Now that's going to bring you to another familiar screen as our confirmation page for submitting reports. We do provide you with the date and time up here for when you submitted that report. And down here is the confirmation number associated for submitting the report. We do still have our really nice table here that breaks it down for the tax that's due. If it's a late report, it also adds in that late file penalty and interest. And then if there's a credit on your account, it'll show that here in the table as well. The system is going to use that credit up first, and then it will give you the expected quarter balance right here. Down at the bottom of the confirmation page, if you were going to make an electronic payment, we have that option here with the Make Payment button. If you would prefer to print a paper check and mail that in, we do ask that you print the voucher to mail that in with it so we can make sure it gets posted to the correct account and quarter. Down here is the print submitted report. So this will print out what you submitted on a UI5. Just as a reminder, we do not need the paper reports that you print out here mailed to us. You did submit it electronically, so that paper printout is going to be for your records. We also give you the option to print this confirmation if you wanted to have documentation of that really nice table with your confirmation number as well. The return button down here at the bottom is going to just take you back to the account without performing any of these functions up here. So today I am going to make an electronic payment. So I'm going to use my Make Payment button. Okay, so that takes us over to our payment screen. Something I want to mention really quick here is we are very excited. We now have our credit card option programmed back into our new site, so you no longer have to give us a call to make those credit card payments over the phone. I will be demoing this for you momentarily, but I am going to go ahead and click next from here. We're going to make that ACH debit payment from our bank account first. So in the payment options, I'll just select bank account. And then I'll go ahead and select next. Okay, so here is our payment screen. I just need to, so you can see that it's bringing in that amount, the quarter balance owed from that report. So I just need to click into the confirm amount box and go ahead and confirm the amount of the payment that I'm making today. Now down here, if you had your bank account information saved from your web logon that we linked to, that information will be out here. If not, you will have to data enter it in. So down here, I'm going to have to enter in a routing number. I do want to mention this populate routing number. This is just a testing tool for our testing environment. So you would have to put in the routing number for your bank account. And then we just ask that you enter in your account number and then confirm that account number as well. And then is this a checking or savings account? And if you do not have that bank account information saved, we still do offer that to save for future use, so you don't have to data enter it every single time. So I am going to go ahead and save my bank account for future use. And then I'll just go over here and click next. Okay, so now we are back at our confirm submission screen for our payment. And I do want to point out on this confirm submission screen, we do have that crumb trail again if you need to back out and make any corrections. I'm going to go ahead and click submit to submit my payment now. And again, that's going to take you to another familiar page as our confirmation page for making the payment. Again, we do provide that date and time that you submitted the payment, and here's your confirmation number for making the payment today. Down below here, we do have the payment details. And then just as a reminder, we do pick up our payment jobs at 2 p.m. Mountain Time. So any payments that are made after 2 p.m. are going to take an additional business day to get posted to the account. Down here, we give you the option to print this confirmation. This is another new feature that we have in eServices, is when you make payments, we are also going to send you an email to the email on file with the confirmation for making the payment as well. I'm going to go ahead and just simply click return to take me back to my account. All right, so if you needed to view all of the payments that have been made, let me show you where to go to do that. I'm going to go ahead and back out to that main screen on my summary tab. So to view the past payments, I'm going to use the view all account services here. Okay, so that takes me to employer account services. We do have a payments tile in here, and we would want to do manage payments. So as you can see, here's the history of the payments that we have received for this account. Down here, if I look under status, these are all the ones that are posted to the account. Here is the pending one that I just made associated with that second quarter 2023 report that we just filed. Up here, you can see we have not filed or made a payment for our third quarter 2023, so that's why this has make a payment. Okay, so something else I did want to demo for you. Let me back out here, and we're going to head back to the managed report screen. I just want to showcase for you amending a report if you had to make any changes. So let's go back into manage report. And again, to make any corrections, you would want to use these links on the right-hand side. So I'm going to go ahead and click in here to view or amend my first quarter 2023 report. Okay, so that's going to bring you into what we have posted here. If you need to make any changes, you're going to want to use this amend report link in the upper right-hand corner. And then we're going to ask you in this drop-down box here for the reason for the change that you're making today. So you want to pick the most appropriate one. I forgot to add an employee to my employee count, so I'm going to update my employee count. We do ask you in the details box to explain in further detail the reason for the change today. Okay, so when I have my description in there, I simply go ahead and click next. Now, if you are amending from a wage report to a no wage report, you would say no. The system is going to drop down here and warn you that wages were reported and make sure that you are going to remove those wages to file a no wage report. To do that, you would clear entered data and then click next. Today, I'm not making any changes to the wages. I'm just changing my employee count. I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I did pay wages between the dates of these quarters. And then I'll click next. Okay, so what that does is that opens this up for editing. So now I can just jump into my January count. I can change that to 2. So now I have made the correction on the report, and I would want to scroll down, and now I need to resubmit my report. So I would go ahead and click next. And again, pointing out on our confirm submission page is that crumb trail if you need to use that. I'm going to go ahead and click submit. Okay, so that takes you to the confirmation page for this amendment. As you can see, we do provide that table again. I didn't make any changes to the wages, so there is no change in the tax due. I only updated my employee count. But if there was a change and you did need to make a payment, we give you all those options down here, just like when you submit your regular report. I'm going to go ahead and just click the return to my account now. Okay, so that's this screen here is telling you that this is an amendment. This does take a review by one of our tax technicians, so it might take a day or two to get posted back to the account, and they may or may not contact you for additional information regarding the change that you made. I'm going to go ahead and head back here to my Manage Report screen. So after you have made submissions here, if you needed to view the ones that you have done today, I want to show you where to go to do that. We need to back out to that main screen. Our submissions are housed under this More tab up here. And as you can see, we have a submissions tile. So if we want to view those, we just go ahead and click into Search Submissions. Okay, so here you can see these are the submissions that we have done today. Here is that second quarter 2023 quarterly wage report. Here's that payment associated with that second quarter as well. And then here is the amendment that we just completed. You can see that these are all pending. They're showing on the pending tab right here. Once those overnight processes happen, they're going to jump over here and be under your process tab. Okay, so let's go ahead and back out here. Something else I want to show you on the More tab is I know a lot of you use our bulk services to file those FSET and ISESA files. So under the More tab, we have a bulk services tile down here. And to file those, you simply click into File Bulk Report. Now again, this is going to look like a very familiar screen from our former eServices. So this would be for any properly formatted ISESA or FSET files. Those specifications, again, are housed out in our Montana e-filing handbook. We do provide a direct link from this screen here to that handbook. And again, you can access it from the home screen from that guides, forms, and more. So to add your bulk file attachment, we just go ahead and click our Add Attachment button down here. That brings up this window where we need to select what type of file this is. So is this an FSET or an ISESA? I have an ISESA file today. And then we also ask for a description. And then you can use this Choose File button to browse your computer, find your file, and upload it here. And then I'll click OK. All right, so I did not receive any error messages. You can see that my file was properly formatted. If I accidentally selected an incorrect file, I do have my remove link. So this will take it out of here. Then you can use the Add Attachments button to browse your computer again to find the correct file. Everything does look correct, so I'm going to go ahead and submit this here. We do provide you that confirmation number for submitting this. So here's your date and time submitted and your confirmation number for that bulk file as well. We give you the option to print this confirmation, or you can return to your account, which is what I'm going to do. Just as a reminder, that is a request that takes an overnight process to get posted, so you can always come back out the following day to make any payments necessary. Okay, so again, just as a reminder, if you have any questions about filing a report, making payments, amending, or viewing any of your submissions, please do put them into that Q&A and we'll be happy to get them answered for you. All right, so I want to shift gears here and talk about any of those benefit requests for information. So let me head back to my summary tab. Okay, so here is our new feature that we have for responding to any of those benefit claims requests for information. So we still do have sides option, but this is what we're calling internal fact finding. And that is going to be on your summary tab here, highlighted in orange, asking you to file this here. I'm going to go ahead and click in here. You can see that it's asking essentially the same questions as sides did for the reason for separation for this individual here. You would fill out these questions, go using next to go to the next screen, and then once it's submitted, these are going to show up on your submissions tab if you needed to access them after that. So what's out here for our internal fact finding, we do have the separation requests, as well as the monetary and potential charging that come with them, those earnings verifications, decisions and determinations, as well as the fact finding as well. I do want to let you know, we will no longer just have one side's contact per exchange to receive those email notifications for when a response is required. It is going to be anyone that has the benefit access to the account that will get those notifications by email to come out to eServices here and respond. So if you do prefer, instead of using our new internal fact finding, if you would prefer to continue to use sides, I'm going to go ahead and back out here so I can show you where to access that. The sides link is going to be on our summary tab, on our account tile down here, and you would click view all account services. And down on our employer information tile, at the very bottom, we have view sides request. So if I click that, again, here's another very familiar screen. It looks just like our sides request screen from our former eServices. We list the exchange out here. Here's the claimant's name, the request date when this was sent out, and then the due date, so the respond by date. If you've already responded, that date's going to populate here in the receive date column. And then to navigate out to that side switchboard, you simply click that respond link. It'll redirect you, and that site will look the same. You would click into whatever exchange and then provide the responses that way. So something I do want to mention, as Karina also mentioned in her intro, is both the internal fact finding and sides will be available for you. You do not need to respond to both. You only need to respond to one or the other. This internal fact finding option was created to make it easier for you to provide those responses without having to navigate to another website. Okay, something that we have not covered yet is when we linked our Okta account to our existing eServices web logon, there was that contact information page. So if that needs to be updated, we would want to do that. Let me back out again to that main screen. If we need to update that profile information, that's going to be up in the upper right-hand corner here under Manage My Profile. Okay, so in my profile here, if I need to change any of this information, I simply have to click the link underneath whatever piece of information it is. I would make the correction, and then I would click OK. I do want to mention this email especially is essential to keep updated because this is how we're going to be communicating with you. This is where the payment receipts are going to go. If you're signed up for email reminders for filing the quarterly wage reports, any of the benefit requests for information if you have benefits access to the account. And something we'll discuss here shortly is our new Go Green option as well. All of that communication is going to be coming to this email address here. So please do make sure that this one is up to date. Okay, let's see. So now I just want to demo some other features that we have out here in eServices for you. Let me back out of my profile. The first one I'd like to go over is some features down here under View All Account Services. I do want to mention one other thing here is to make you aware that as an owner, officer, or principal of the business, you are going to have all these links available that we are previewing today. But if you're only handling the tax matters or the benefits matters, then some of these links may not show when you log in. But something I'm sure that you guys do come out here at least once a year and view is your tax rate when we run those in December. So again, under that employer account services, you can jump down to your employer information tile and you can view your rates here. If I click in, that's going to populate in a table, and your current tax rate for the year is going to be the one at the top here. If you need to view that breakdown of the two components, you can use the View Rate Components link. And that's going to bring open this window here where you can see it's broken down into that AFT portion and then the contribution portion here as well. Okay, so let me back out to our employer account services. Some other features I want to point out is over on our financial services tile. If you wanted to see if we could waive some late file penalty or interest, you can use our request abatement link right here. If you have a refund, or excuse me, if you have a credit on your account and you would like to see if we can get a refund processed for you, that's where you would use this request a refund link right here. Now, if I jump over to my account maintenance tile down in the lower left here, say you don't need your UI account anymore and your business is closed, or possibly you're a sole proprietor who no longer has any of those W-2 employees and you need to get your account inactivated. We do provide that option here with the inactivate UI account on that account maintenance tile. Okay, so some other features I want to show you are under that More tab. So we'll back out to that main screen and I'll go into my More. We do always like to have updated information on your account, and you can do that over on our names and addresses tile here, where you can manage the names and addresses or update the responsible parties if there was a change in those responsible parties as well. Over here on my correspondence tile, I think these are very, very helpful, is getting set up for email reminders. So if you're not set up for the email reminders to remind you about filing those quarterly wage reports, let's go ahead and click in here. It's just a quick process where you click in to set up for email reminder. You would say, yes, I would like to receive those. Then the system's going to ask you, do you want to receive that email on the 10th or the 25th of the month that the report is due? So you just select whatever preference you like for getting that email reminder, and then you would click submit. We do provide you with a confirmation page again for getting set up for email reminders. You can print that if you'd like. I am just going to go ahead and return to my account. Okay, moving up on that correspondence tile, this is our web messages. So these are secure web messages that talk directly from eServices to our side of the system. So if you need to send any sensitive data, information, documents, you can attach those to these web messages and get them to us. We call these urgent requests as well, so they come directly to us when you submit them. We do work them as a first priority to try to get them answered the same day that we receive them. So as you can see in my messages, this kind of works like email. So you have your inbox here, there's your outbox for the ones that you have sent. We do have the option if you want to archive the message. And if you send and receive a lot of web messages, we have a search function here as well. To send a new web message, that's going to be this link in the upper right-hand corner to send a message. Then we're going to ask you, is this a benefits related question or a UI tax account question? So I'm going to make a tax account question today. Then we're going to ask you to select your message type. So you want to pick the one that is closest to whatever your question is. And what this does is it gets it to the people who are the experts at answering those questions. So today I'm going to make a payment question. And we do have to put something in the subject line here. And then in the body of the message here is where you want to type your question that you need answered. Okay, when you have your question in there, I do want to point this feature out here is if you had any documentation that you wanted to add as an attachment, you can do that down here on our attachments bar using this add tab. That'll allow you to browse your computer, select whatever documents you need to attach to this web message. I don't have any attachments today, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to go ahead and click submit. We do give you this little confirmation that your message has been sent, but if you want to go back here to messages, you can always check your outbox as well. And see here, you can see here's our payment question. Okay, let me back out here. Again, on this correspondence tile, I wanted to point out the top link is to view your letters. So every letter that we print and mail to you through the paper mail, we do post them out here at eServices for you to view or print if necessary. So as I mentioned earlier, this is something else new that is exciting is our Go Green option. So if you no longer want to receive those paper letters in the regular mail, you can get set up with Go Green. And to do that, that's going to be over here on our settings tab. I'll click into settings. And to get set up for the Go Green option on my employer tile, you can see my mail delivery option is set for paper. So if I wanted to switch this, I just click in there and do electronic, and then I will go ahead and click save. So now going forward, I will no longer receive those paper notices in the mail, but instead I'm going to get an email notification to the email on file notifying me to come out here to log into eServices and view those new letters that are out there for me. I do want to let you know there still may be the occasional regular paper letter mailed to you through the regular mail, and you would need to respond to those accordingly. But the majority of the mail that we will send now will come over to you with that email notification to log in and view them that way. All right, so that concludes the demo that we have put together for you today. April, was there any questions in the Q&A that I could do an extra demo for?
I don't see any out there. I think we've got most all of them answered, but this will be a time that we'll open it up if anyone wants to raise their hand, if they'd like to answer a question. Looks like we've got at least one. Lori has a question. So Lori, I'm going to set it so you can talk. You may need to unmute yourself and then you can go ahead and ask your question.
I was in a meeting, so I missed on how to connect Okta to the UI services. Is there a link that I should go to, or I'm not sure.
Okay. Basically, there's a couple of things you can do. If you would like to set up your Okta account ahead of time, you certainly can do that. And April can drop the link here in the chat, as well as they'll be on our slide at the end where you could set up Okta ahead of time. But in order to link the two, you do have to wait till October 2nd, and you're just going to go to uieservices.mt.gov. That's kind of the nice thing is our URL is not changing. So if you've been using UI eServices for a while now, you just go to the same place, the URL is not changing, and then you would have that sign in with Okta button. You click there, and if you already have your Okta account set up, you simply log into Okta, and then it will ask you for your current eServices username and password. So whatever you're using today to get into eServices, you would put that information in, it will connect the two together, and then you'll be all set. So sometimes it looks a little bit more daunting in a presentation like this, but it really is pretty slick. So,
all right, wonderful. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Let's see. I don't see any other questions right now. Oh, here we go, Jessica. Okay, Jessica, I've made it so that you can talk. Feel free, you might need to unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so right now I use the Okta services for the business as it is, as the certain LLC that it is, and I'm actually buying the business, and we're hoping that it will actually be done like by September 30th, because that would just make everything a lot easier. So with the new LLC that I'll have to start completely fresh, right? I can't use any of the information from the old LLC.
Well, it's hard for me to say that in a webinar like this, because what you would need to do is reach out to our registration team and find out. I don't know if you're purchasing the whole thing, it might be 100% transfer, and those kinds of things. So we could still get the account, the username and password they're using right now on the old, because if I'm understanding it correctly, you're already connected to the original account, correct?
Yes, yes.
Okay, and then you're just going through and you're buying it out, so you would have that. There are ways that we can make that work. Depending upon what the entire situation is, you may or may not need a new UI account number, and that's why it's hard for me to answer it completely in this call. But we could definitely. You don't have to start over from scratch. That I can say. And if you already have an Okta account, it would be a matter of connecting your existing eServices account, and then if you have to set up a new UI account, we could get that connected as well.
Okay, and can I do that before the second?
If you have the information about the purchasing, sure. If you want to give our call to our registration team, our primary number is 406, of course, 444-3834. And I believe registration is option 1 on that list. And then they can answer those questions as to whether or not you would need a new UI account with what you're purchasing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions out there? I don't see. Laura, you still have your hand raised. Did you have another question?
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's okay. Just want to make sure we get everybody. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Sorry, Karina, we did have a question in the chat that I just thought would be a lot easier to answer verbally. It was, can you talk more about having a firm's employee each have their own login? Currently, we have several employees using one login. There will be a video available, so the login process for each of those employees is fairly similar. They would need their own Okta account, and then when they get to that main screen, instead of choosing, yes, I've already used eServices, they would choose, no, I have not used eServices prior, or haven't used these services before. And that's just going to take them through a series of some questions about the TPA account. So your account, your firm's account. And once they answer those security questions, then it will go ahead and connect the new eServices logon that they just created with that Okta account. And then they'll be able to get in there. If you do have access to individual clients, currently, we will be pushing that information overnight. And for more information on that, if you'd like, I don't know if you participated in the webinar that we did for third-party filers, but we do have that on our help website. And so you can kind of take a look at that. But there'll also be some videos available October 2nd that gives you more information for some of that information. If that makes sense.
There's another question in the chat that I thought I would answer live too, and it has to do with how long will UIE services still be available? UIE services is not going away. It's just getting a big facelift. So this is the same system that you guys have been using for, if you're a user already, that you've been using for some time now. It's just getting a redesign, and then the Okta piece has been added on the front. So everything that you see in eServices today, you will see that in eServices tomorrow. It's still the same UIE services. It's the same vendor. Our modernization project was just to kind of pull our benefits system into the same system our tax is using, and then give everything a big facelift. So that's kind of what it is. So UIE services is not going away at all. Looks like, Diane, it looks like you might have a question. I'm going to go ahead and make it so you can talk. You might need to unmute yourself.
There I am. Yes, thank you for this. I unfortunately was on a business call and missed just the first few minutes. I'm presently on eServices. I do a few employees, and I'm a contract service. And I'm just wondering now that initially I'm not set up on Okta. So I would go in first into eServices like I always do.
Yes, that is correct. You can go into eServices, and then there's two ways. If you wanted to go to Okta today and create an Okta account, you can sure do that.
Oh,
You just
okay.
can't connect eServices and Okta together until October 2nd. So
Oh, okay.
either way you go, if, what would happen is when you come back on October 2nd and go to uieservices.mt.gov, just like you always have been, and then you're going to click this sign in with Okta button, and
Okay.
that'll take you to the screen. And if you already have an Okta password, you simply put in your Okta username and password. If you don't have one yet, there'll be an option at the bottom to set one up. So you could set one up at that time, and then same process. Once you're logged into Okta, you'll connect your existing UI eServices username and password to the Okta, and then you'll be good to go. So then going forward, even though you're going through Okta, you will still go to UI eServices for employers, and you just put in your Okta information and you're logged right into eServices. So the URL isn't changing where you go to the same place and as you have been for some time now.
Looks wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Looks like Dorothy, you might have had a question. I've just marked you as you can talk. Might need to unmute.
Yes, in the presentation, it looked like when that you put in all your data and then you went ahead and filed the form. Do you see the total form before you actually submit it like you did previously?
Oh, well, you would see it. Yeah, you would see the totals on the top. Are you talking about the quarterly report? So you see all the
Yes.
totals on the top, and then you see your, it looks like Katie's trying to get there real quick. Maybe where you see all of your wage records at the bottom. Is that what you're referring to?
Right, and then it would show you the tax that was due.
Yes, it's kind of in the center box on the top of that form. It's all there. It would show you the total amount of the wages reported, any excess that was calculated, and the tax due. It shows what your rate is and the current taxable wage base.
Okay, so it's all there. And you see it before you actually submit.
Yes.
It's a little bit different format.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. That's the only question that I have.
Okay, great. Angie, it looks like you might have had a question. I set you to unmute.
Yeah, so I signed up for Okta and I'm really confused because it took me to the page and it has all kinds of tiles.
Right. Yeah, that's the downside to going straight to Okta and logging in, because like I said earlier, it is the doorway to a lot of state of Montana services. So going straight to there, then you're going to get lots of tiles. And right now, UI eServices for employers is not one of those tiles. It wouldn't be there until October 2nd. But the better way to access eServices going forward, even though it does connect with Okta, is you're still going to go to the same site that you've been going to. So still go to uieservices.mt.gov. When you click on that sign in with Okta, you'll put in your Okta password, and then it'll bounce you straight into eServices. There's no having to pick a tile, find a tile, or any of that kind of thing. You can do it that way, but it's not as slick and easy. So this way, if you start out at uieservices.mt.gov, there's that connection already that will set that up.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Karina, there was Jerry Lynn Hiller that asked the question. Can we see what the report looks like after the submission? So I did want to hop back in here so that we could show here. Is this what she was asking earlier? Is it like the tax due and the wages down here? The previous question?
I think so.
Okay, yep. So I did want to hop in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click next and submit this report here. And then we're going to just return to our account and go back some more and search our submissions. So now here you can see the third quarter report that I just filed. If you want to access your submission, you just click this link here from that search submissions. And that's going to take you to your crumb trail where you can see what you had entered.
Very good.
And you could also, this is great because you can see what you entered in it back there when you wanted to print it, or even right here if you wanted to print the paper form for your records, you can just hit that print and it would show up just like our UI5 does today. So that form hasn't changed. Any other questions? I have some questions about when this information will be available online. We usually try to get up there in the next day or two, so hopefully by tomorrow it will be on our website. And if you just go to uieservices.mt.gov and you can click on either the FAQ or the handbooks more, or forms and more link, and it will be available under both of those. We've done this is our 4th webinar, so there's already 3 of them out there. This particular one will be posted hopefully sometime tomorrow. Okay, so I see a question out there in the chat that says, if you have 2 users with their own logon information for the same organization, with one doing benefits and one doing taxes, I'm assuming we can combine those 2 accounts. You're not combining the accounts. If you still want your one person to do benefits and one to do tax, this accommodates it just like we do today. So they each have to have their own Okta. Because right now, if they both have their own sign-ons into the system, then they would simply take their individual sign-ons, connect them to their individual Oktas, and boom, they'd go in and still continue to do business as they have been doing. If they're sharing a username and password, then one of them has to give up that and create their own password so that they are both logging in with unique IDs. And again, they've mentioned that before, that really is security. So we know who is getting in the system, you know who's getting in the system, making changes on your behalf and things like that. So it really is just, they always say never share your username and passwords, and this is no different. So everyone just has their own sign-on. I hope that answered that question. And Angie, it looks like you had some extra questions, and sure, we can definitely stay on and answer any questions you might have. Wendy, you're saying, so we need one owner, one HR, and one tax accounts, right? Nope. We're not saying that. You can have one person that does everything, or you can have 3 people that, does each individually, or you can have 20 people that back each other up. It really doesn't matter. You can have as many logons into an individual UI tax account as you need. So if one person does it all, they can have one sign on and they can do it all. If you have different people that do each different function, then yes, there would need to be a logon for each one of those individuals that is getting in the system. So anyone accessing the system needs to have a logon to do whatever it is that they need to do within the system. And yes, you can have as many sign-ons as you want or as you need for an account.